I love working with DM students primarily because these are some very accomplished people, but they don't rest on their accomplishments. They're the type of person who's continually striving. They're continually looking to expand their ideas, they're looking to expand their experiences, and they're not resting on their accomplishments. So of course being around people like that who are very dynamic, very interested, very willing to talk and share their ideas, and they're also very interested in the ideas around them, that of course is exciting. On the one hand, on the other hand, they have a lot of experience. And not only can they bring that experience with novel research questions, important research questions, but they can also teach a lot to the academy. Academics and universities can learn a lot from that experience. Oftentimes, we on this side don't have as much experience as the practical experience as the DM students. So I love working with them. They also have a tremendous ability to bring resources to bear on their research. They have a tremendous access to data. They have a really great ability to go out and do things that maybe we as academic researchers don't always, we aren't quite able to do to the level that they are. So they bring a lot to the table in that sense. And the reason I think, and I guess going along with that idea, is that they can really, as they, not only during the program, but as they graduate, they can bring a lot to, I think, business schools. Probably universities in general, but I think particularly in business schools, because there is some debate about how business schools can remain relevant, how they can inform practice, how they can really guide the leaders, ethical leaders, to build the sustainable organizations of the future. And I really think that the DM students that I've had the honor of working with can really inform that quite a bit, because they bring not only their background, a great deal of experience, great deal of research, a lot of energy, and a lot of ability, but they're really interested in sharing that. The DM program equips alumni with a set of skills that they wouldn't otherwise get from pretty much any program in that I'm aware of. And it does this a number of ways. First of all, it gives them, there are a number of really brilliant scholars who have written a lot about very practical, very important issues that oftentimes aren't put out in mainstream business books and that type of thing. So oftentimes executives and managers don't have access to a lot of that great thinking. And I think one of the ways that DM graduates can really benefit the external world, the non-academic world, is by bridging a lot of some of those great ideas and bringing them down to a relevant area. I've talked to a number of the alumni, one in particular who runs a multi-billion-dollar business. He was telling me that it's amazing how people make decisions in organizations today based on a very little bit of data, or almost trivial data, or just superficial data. And then they commit a lot of money, make very big decisions based on oftentimes sloppy thinking. Well, one of the things this program does is it really forces students to be precise in the way they think. It forces them to be accurate, and it forces a lot of their statements, it forces them to understand how to use data to inform their decisions, and which data to trust, and how to determine the validity of that data. And that's how I think, in a lot of ways, that we empower our graduates to make really more informed decisions, engage in critical thinking, and bring this wealth of scholarly thinking to bear on their everyday issues. But I think the value that they bring, on a research front, they bring really actionable, relevant ideas and really great access to data. And they really help make research projects that much better and that much more relevant. On the one hand, and to the classroom, they bring a lot of real experience. DM students are a unique breed. They're certainly very accomplished, but they don't rest on that accomplishment. They tend to strive. They want more. They're not afraid of challenge, and they embrace challenge, they embrace ideas, and they like thinking about ideas, they like talking, they like listening, reading and writing, and they don't want to rest on their accomplishments, and I think that's the important thing. In a lot of educational situations, people like to be spoon-fed the content of the education. That doesn't happen in the DM program. In the DM program, it requires some initiative, and it requires some self-guided learning, and that's the type of person who makes a good DM student, the type who really relishes in thinking in ideas, in the world of ideas, and can motivate themselves to pursue those ideas and to articulate their own ideas in a more precise manner than they've ever articulated before. And I think that's the type of really curious person and really ambitious, dynamic person that makes a good DM student. DM students have the potential to be a very unique form of boundary spanner in that in academia, the people who really rise in their field in academia do so because of their excellent scholarship. And then those who rise in practice tend to do so because of their practical abilities, oftentimes. Here with the DM students, we have a certain type of person who can do both, an ambidextrous person, someone who can bring value both from the practical world into the halls of academia, and at the same time, take that great scholarship in academia and translate it so that it's actionable and usable in the practical world. And I think that type of boundary spanner, the spanner between scholarship and practice, is exactly what the practitioner-scholars of the DM program generates. Any teacher will tell you that they learn from their students. And I think that's been the case in my experience. At all levels, you learn from your students. But the way you learn from DM students is a bit different in that the DM students are not teaching you, say, a novel way to look at things from their fresh perspective. Rather, they're teaching you from years and years of hard-won practice. And they're teaching you lessons that these are truly the experts in their field oftentimes. And while you're studying their field from a scholarly route, you don't necessarily understand from an inside what this means. And I think that's what they really bring to the table, the insider knowledge.